Shalom, Call Halayimla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash, double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and Shalom to the 144,000. I'm Zaim, and this is another video entitled Parables, the Parable of the Pounds. Lord, will you edify. Luke 19:11. And as they heard these things, which are the disciples, he added, Yahushua added, and spake a parable. Now, what is a parable? Let's look this up. Parable. What Esau said.
Strong's G 3850, parabole, parabole.
Outline of biblical usage. Metaphor. A comparison of one thing with another. Likeness, similitude. An example by which a doctrine or precept is illustrated. So, by using comparisons of one thing with another and likeness and similitude, Yahweh Shai is trying to illustrate this doctrine to his elect, the ones that have been given the pounds, which is this truth, which is this word, which is the talent. Back in Luke 19:11. And as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of Yahweh should immediately appear. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman, which is Yahweh Shai, went into a far country, which is the spirit realm, to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. "13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds. And who are the servants of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai? Let's go to Jeremiah 25:4. Jeremiah 25:4. And the Lord Yahweh hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets. The prophets are the servants of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. Back in Luke 19:13, and he called his 10 servants, which are the prophets, and delivered them 10 pounds. These pounds is this truth, this word, this doctrine, and said to them, occupy till I come, which means to do the work, prophesy, and whatever talent you have been given, use it to edify the body. And how does one occupy until Yahweh Shai comes? By doing the work. And how does one do the work of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai? Ephesians 4:8. Ephesians 4:8. and 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. These gifts are things such as prophesying, interpreting dreams, healings, and so on and so forth. Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended from, now that he ascended, Slakia, now that he ascended, which means went up into the spirit realm, what is it but that he also descended, which means he came to earth, first into the lower parts of the earth. He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And what are those gifts? These are the gifts. Ephesians 4 and 11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and teachers. These gifts are used to occupy until Yahushua is sent back, and to flip the talents, and to have Yahushua use his money to bring forth him usury, and to bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 100-fold, some 50, for the perfecting of the saints. Verse back in Ephesians 4 and 11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers. Why? The gifts are also for, verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry. See, this is for the work of the ministry, these gifts, which are used let's see if I can find that precept. Matthew 13. Let's pause at Ephesians 4 and 11 and go to Matthew 13 and 23. No, let's not bring that out yet. Salakia, bear with me. Okay, let's start back at Ephesians 4 and 11 with the gifts. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. And why was we given this? Lord willing, I'm of the hopeful elect. Why were the elect given these gifts? It was for, verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry. These gifts was given for us to use in our ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Yahweh, unto a perfect man, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what makes the saints perfect, and it is unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, like Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, by the sleight of man and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth, this is the truth, in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach, for whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself, the gifts of the for the perfecting of the saints and for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. Back in Luke 19. In verse 14. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants, the prophets, the apostles, the evangelists, to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, the pounds, the talents, the work, the word, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading, which is being occupied doing the work. How much money did you get from flipping the talent, from flipping the money that Yahweh Shai had given you by occupying doing the work? Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, well, thy good servant, because thou hast been faithful in very little, thou have Salakia. Verse 17. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thy authority over 10 cities. Verse 18. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And these be the ones who brought forth fruit. Matthew 13 and 23. Now we can bring out that scripture. Matthew 13 and 23. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold. Salakia, I said some 50 and some 30 and some 100. It was really some 100-fold, some 60 and some 30. Back in Luke 19 and 20. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. These are the ones who have the truth, but don't do the work and go back into the world. For verse 21, for I fear thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou laidest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. And he saith unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest, and this is why he is a wicked servant, because he had the truth, but he went back into the world and didn't do the truth. He didn't occupy himself in the ministry, in prophesying, in teaching. It says, thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore, this is what he was supposed to do. Wherefore, then gavest not thou my money into the bank, prophesied, teach, did the work of an evangelist, occupied himself in the work, doing the work of the prophets. Wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury? And what is that? Back in Matthew 13 And 23, the ones who brought forth fruit. Matthew 13 and 23 again. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. This is why he said he is a wicked servant, because verse 23, wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, flipped it by doing the work, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury, 100-fold, 60-fold, 30-fold. And he said unto them that stood by, take from him the pound and give it to him that have 10 pounds. So a man that's been doing the work and brought forth fruit. And they said unto him, Lord, he hath 10 pounds. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. I want to say Shalom. Call Haloim La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And Shalom to the 144,000 in the elect. Lord will, you've been edified. Shalom.